Can you imagine a world without Singapore in it? Today, we'll be exploring this bustling city-state, a major player in global exports and a haven for millionaires. Known for its strict laws and green landscapes, Singapore has left its mark on fields like medicine, technology, and even DNA science. And where else would our favorite spices like ginger, saffron, and turmeric come from? Well, get ready to discover even more amazing facts about Singapore that are sure to amaze you. 1. In Singapore, they take their toilets seriously. They pushed a UN resolution for World Toilet Day on November 19th, and just like that, the World Toilet Organization was born in 2001. And if you ever forget to flush, that's a $150 fine. So keep those toilets sparkling clean. 2. Unlike many other countries, Singapore didn't have to engage in any battles or wars for its independence. In fact, all it took was a democratic vote for Singapore to part ways with Malaysia, who said, "You know what? We're good without you." 3. Singapore has a few unusual laws. No gum chewing, no unauthorized Wi-Fi use, no vaping or shisha smoking, and certainly no jaywalking near a crosswalk. 4. Speaking of walking, Singaporeans always walk like there's an emergency. Think of them as the Usain Bolt of pedestrians, walking at a speedy 6.15 kilometers per hour. Think you can keep up? 5. Here's another thing you may not be able to keep up with. Now, Singaporeans aren't just multilingual, speaking English, Chinese, Malay, and Tamil, but they have their secret language too, Singlish. It's quite different from your regular broken English, and it is so complex that even seasoned travelers struggle to master it. Interestingly, they've even got 27 Singlish words in the Oxford Dictionary. 6. Have you ever heard of Chope? In Singapore, locals leave tissue packets to claim tables at hawker centers. It's an unspoken rule, but everyone tries to play along, although it can be quite dramatic when someone tries to take a chope seat away. 7. Aunty and Uncle aren't just family titles in Singapore. They're terms of endearment for anyone a bit older. It's all about showing respect in a society that values its elders. So don't be surprised if you randomly hear someone say in a restaurant, "Uncle, one chicken rice, please." 8. Always keep left. That's the escalator etiquette in Singapore. Just like on the roads, you must stick to the left unless you're in a hurry. If you somehow end up standing on the right, prepare for some serious side-eye, or maybe even a polite reminder that you're breaking an unwritten law. 9. Mark your calendars, it's Tree Planting Day in Singapore. On November 7th, everyone, from diplomats to your neighbors, gets their hands dirty planting trees. Some even give trees as gifts. 10. The people of Singapore are really keen on great food, and you can see this in their peculiar hawker culture. Every local has a go-to spot for their favorite dishes, and seriously, they're not shy about sharing. Some of the best hawker spots include Amoy Street Food Center, Maxwell Food Center, and the Old Airport Road Food Center. 11. In Singapore, they don't play around when it comes to keeping things tidy. If you drop a small item, that will cost you a $300 fine. And if you go big by dropping cans or bottles, well, get ready for public shaming in a glowing green vest. 12. Does anyone want to play Formula One? Since 2008, Singapore's Formula One Grand Prix has been lighting up the night with roaring engines and thrilling races throughout Marina Bay. It was actually the first of its kind in the whole of Asia. 13. Singapore has a really interesting comeback story. Forgotten for centuries after a rough patch with the Portuguese, it took Britisher Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles to put it back on the map. In fact, Sentosa Island went from a military base to a prisoner camp to a tropical paradise, proving that every island deserves a second chance. 14. Are you an orchid lover? Singapore's National Orchid Garden has the world's largest collection. With over 1,000 species and 2,000 hybrids, it's a floral feast for the senses. And they've even got celebrity orchids of Margaret Thatcher, Princess Diana, and even Ricky Martin. 15. Singapore isn't just one island, as you may have thought. It is actually a combination of 64 islands. Some of them include resort havens like Sentosa and Pulau Ubin, St. John, and Lazarus Island. 16. If you need a hug, head to the National University of Singapore for a really special one. They've got a Hug Me Coca-Cola vending machine waiting for you. Give it a squeeze and you'll get a Coke. 17. Did you know that Singapore's national anthem is tucked away in tiny text on the back of the $1,000 note? Well, if you're ever counting some Singaporean cash, take a closer look and sing along silently. 18. Back in the 70s, Singapore said no to long hair for guys. Even rock legends like the Bee Gees and Led Zeppelin had to pass on gigs there. However, this ban was lifted in the 90s, bringing back the freedom to have fabulous hair once again. 19. Singapore's one of the cool kids, a modern city-state like Monaco and the Vatican. What makes them so unique is they don't have to bother with a capital city. Well, who needs one when you're rocking it as an entire island? 20. Watch your words in Singapore. Some topics are off limits, and criticizing the government is one of them. If you step out of line, you might find yourself getting caned. And yes, that's an actual punishment in Singapore. Best stick to safer conversations like the weather or where to find the best chili crab. 21. Hop on board because Singapore loves public transit. The government's not too keen on private cars, though. If you insist on having one, be prepared to pay a hefty price, 1.5 times the original cost. 22. Time is a funny thing in Singapore. Since 1905, they've had about 6 different time zones. Even though they officially operate with GMT plus 8, they have a preference for being in their time zone, GMT plus 7.5. 23. Singapore has one really special gem called the Botanical Garden. Over 160 years old and counting, it's the only UNESCO World Heritage Site in the city. What's more, this place is home to lush wilderness and the world's biggest tropical orchid garden. 24. When the sun goes down, the night safari comes alive. This is the world's first night zoo, and since 1994, this 35-hectare wonderland has been giving visitors a glimpse into the nocturnal world of over 1,000 animals from 120 species. 25. Singapore can be quite pricey. According to the Economist Intelligence Unit, it's been named the most expensive city in the world alongside New York, 8 times in the past decade. 26. Singaporeans hold the golden ticket to travel. With the world's most powerful passport, they have visa-free access to over 180 countries. 27. Every Singaporean man has a date with military service after high school. It's 2 years of discipline and maybe a bit of boot camp humor. 28. In the land of Singapore, corruption is a big no-no. They've earned the badge of honor as the least corrupt city in Asia and the 5th least corrupt globally. So if you're thinking of slipping a little something under the table, think again. 29. Singapore is that superhero who makes sure the world has all it needs, all from its tiny island. They are one of the top names in export, and they also import everything from sand to even fresh water. 30. Thanks to the National Courtesy Campaign, turned Singapore Kindness Movement, politeness is practically a way of life in Singapore. Since the 70s, they've been spreading kindness to anyone they come across. That's certainly a culture worth embracing. 31. Rain or shine, the show goes on at Singapore's National Stadium. With its massive canopy shelter and the world's biggest retractable dome, you can enjoy any game, no matter the weather. 32. Changi Airport in Singapore is ranked the world's best airport, and it's no wonder even locals love hanging out there. With Jewel, its beautiful extension with shops, restaurants, and even a waterfall in the ceiling, who needs a boarding pass? We have talked about the $150 fine for not flushing and $300 for littering, but what do you think? Are these rules a little extreme, or are they really the best ways to keep the people on their best, tidy behaviors? So, which of these facts about Singapore surprised you the most? Tell us your thoughts in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more.